Hi, it's Ashleigh from Sweet Dreams Bake Shop, and today I'm going to show you how to make a lemon meringue pie completely from scratch. It is so much better than using those boxed mixes, and your efforts will not go to waste. I will post links to the original recipes that I'm using down below. I often like using recipes from different places, but this time I'm actually using two separate recipes from the same place because it's that good. I've used several different methods for making lemon curd, and I find this way is the easiest and best way to get the smoothest lemon curd. So you're basically taking all of your ingredients, you're going to put them in the bowl, and then we're going to use a double boiling system. Methods where you take all of your ingredients and dump it directly into a pot and then onto the stove can work, but I do find it's trickier to control the temperature, and then you can end up with cooked eggs in your lemon curd, which is exactly what you don't want. This method does take some time because obviously there's not as much heat being applied to your lemon curd, so it is a bit of a waiting game. You'll know the lemon curd is ready to come off the stove because things start sticking to the side a little bit more and everything looks a little bit more opaque and not so clear. Whenever I'm making lemon curd for a pie, I like it to be quite set so that when I slice into the pie, it just has a beautiful slice and nothing is leaking out. Add in your butter. I believe the original recipe states to use room temperature. Mine just came from the fridge and it still melted right into the lemon curd because the lemon curd was just on the stove, so it's still pretty hot. This butter will also help stiffen up the lemon curd just a bit more. I want to be sure that my lemon curd is super silky smooth, so I'm just running it through the sieve so there's no weird egg parts. Some people also don't like to have the zest in there either, so I'm also taking out the zest as well. I also want to note that I always start with the lemon curd because it does take time for that curd to cool down, and I don't want to pour it in hot into my pie crust. The rule of thumb when making a pie crust is make sure that your butter is super cold. The water you're going to be adding in later as well also needs to be super cold. I try not to handle anything too much here because I want to keep those ingredients really nice and chilled. That's how you get that flaky crust. And notice I'm using my food processor, but I only used it to chop the butter into little pea-sized pieces. That is just so that I don't have to use a pastry cutter. Then whenever I'm adding in the water here, I gently knead everything together. Notice how I'm kind of using a scooping motion and then I'm pushing down with the palm of my hand. Mix until just combined. Now, usually what I've done in past is I've separated this dough into two, but I always find that I misjudge how much dough I'm going to need. So this time I'm just leaving it in one clump. I am buttering that pie dish and then I am going to roll this out nice and thin and then I'm going to place it into my little pie plate. You'll notice that I didn't chill this dough for too long. That's because I find the chilling process is actually a lot more important after we roll everything out. Be sure to dock your pie and poke holes with a fork. This will prevent any large air bubbles from forming in your crust. You'll notice how I left a little bit of an overhang with my crust and now I'm tucking it in. This makes sure that everything looks nice and even from the underside. That went into the freezer for about an hour. Now I'm putting down some parchment paper and using some weight so that the pie can bake evenly and won't puff up. What I also did there was I pushed the rice out towards the edges so that my edges would not sink in. For my egg wash, I always like to use egg yolk and some whipping cream, and I really liberally put this all over the pie crust because I want it to be super shiny. That's going to go in the oven for another 15 minutes. Now I am bringing my sugar water up to temperature and I'm going to be pouring it into these whipping egg whites. The egg whites I used were the same egg whites from my yolks that I used earlier. Everything is completely cooled down and now I can put that lemon curd right in there. See how nice and thick that is? That's exactly how I like it. Now I'm going to be using a piping bag fitted with a star tip and I'm going to make rosettes out of my meringue. You certainly do not have to do this, but I really love the way it looks. What I'm going to do as well is I'm going to fire this up in between so that I get those crunchy bits in every layer of meringue. Whenever I serve this, my guests just love the way it looks, but you could certainly pile that meringue right on top and just leave it all peaked, and that looks delicious as well. If you don't have a torch, you can do this on broil in your oven. Just really make sure that you watch your pie as you're doing that. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you can be part of the Sweetie fam. Right now, I'm uploading daily, so make sure you hit that notification bell so you know when I upload. Also, be sure to comment, request, or ask a question. I love hearing from you guys. Bye!